is video the I-9 investigative team received from the Iowa City School District. It shows a driver of that district was blasting music and texting behind the wheel when he hit a 12-year-old student, injuring that child's leg and ankle. This happened 2 weeks ago. The driver, 28-year-old Corey Turner, can also be seen leaving the scene of a crash. He did pull over about a minute later. The Johnson County Attorney's Office charged Turner with using an electric device while driving. Court records show that Turner previously received violations for speeding and failing to yield. An I-9 investigation uncovered he is not the only driver for a school district in Iowa who had documented red flags on his record.
Last year, there were 205 crashes involving school buses in Iowa. 6 of them involved fatalities. TV9's chief investigative reporter Josh Scheinblum discovered that some school districts might not be doing enough to screen their bus drivers.
I remember waking up that morning and getting ready to go for a run, and then that's about it.
Cameron Smebby can't recall much when he thinks about the morning of October 4th, 2018, until he looks at his leg.
Broke both the tibia and the fibula in there, and then when they tried to sew it back together, it was a little swollen on this side, so they had to take skin from my upper leg and then put it down there.
Last year, a Cedar Rapids school bus ran a red light on Mount Vernon Road and hit Smebby. He suffered broken bones and a damaged heart from the crash. He's still on medication.
I did a lot of physical therapy.
Darla Ogden was driving the bus that hit Smebby. Before that accident, Ogden had 8 traffic violations on her record, the most recent in 2014. 5 of the violations were for not having registration. Cedar Rapids Schools allowed Ogden to resign after the crash, but that didn't happen until after she was cited for speeding in a separate incident about a month after hitting Smebby. I-9 reached out to Ogden for her side of the story, but we've not heard back. That's far from the only school bus crash in the past year. A doorbell camera caught this Cedar Rapids school bus backing up into a car last month. And in late August, police cited the driver of a college community school bus after they hit an SUV, sending the motorist to the hospital. I-9 filed an open records request and reviewed the criminal and driving records for all 111 school bus drivers with the Cedar Rapids School District. We found some with lengthy histories. 5 had at least 10 driving offenses. 1 was caught driving the wrong way on a highway in April 2017 in a school bus. 2 were even cited for passing a school bus illegally. There was a driver with drug possession and intoxication on their record, and a driver who was cited for failing to secure a child. There was also another who supplied tobacco products to minors, and another we found was arrested for domestic assault in 2003. Cedar Rapids Schools refused to take part in an interview with I-9 to discuss their hiring practices. Since we first asked the district about who was driving for them, at least 3 bus drivers are no longer driving for the district. School bus drivers in Iowa are required to have the same license as a truck driver. It's called the CDL, and with it comes a litany of different federal requirements. That's in addition to rules in Iowa code that require school districts do background checks on bus drivers and that they go through additional training.
It's hard to know how they got through the crash.
We shared our findings with Chris Darling, the executive director of the Iowa Pupil Transportation Association, an organization that advises Iowa school districts about best practices. Darling says Cedar Rapids Schools is a member of their group.
If the driver came on and they were perfect, and those things happened as they were driving a school bus, the one thing that should have taken care of that would have been their yearly evaluation. And if it compounds 2 or 3 things, then you have to terminate.
It's up to each individual school district to decide how a background check is done. We surveyed 5 school districts of varying size in eastern Iowa to learn about their hiring policy. None were exactly the same.
I feel like our requirements are more stringent than just the states are.
Kathy Corbett is a general manager for Durham School Services, a private company that provides busing services for several districts, including Waterloo and Iowa City. Durham's background checks go back 10 years on each prospective bus driver, and once a driver's hired, they continue to check them again at least once every 3 months.
Multiple speeding tickets, severe speeding tickets, even in your own vehicle can disqualify you from continuing to drive for us.
Waterloo did have issues with 2 drivers. One left a 6-year-old boy alone on a bus for nearly 2 hours in July. Another dropped off a 9-year-old with autism at the wrong stop. One driver was fired, the other was placed on leave. Meanwhile, Smabby's family is suing both the Cedar Rapids School District and Ogden. In studio, Josh Scheinblum, KCRG, TV9 News.